Good morning, everyone. Welcome to LisaBug Yoga for All. So happy to have you this morning. It's a snowy morning here in Minnesota. It's so beautiful outside. It's calming. That gentle snowfall is going to put us in just the right mood for our yoga class today. So we are for the month of February. Our theme is finding the breath. And there are many forms of breathing in yoga. So we are going to focus on integrating two basic forms to help us learn how to use the pranayama. I have with me today some essential oil. If you don't have any at home, that's absolutely fine. There are certain essential oils that really enhance mood and help us to relax and calm. If you're feeling a little stuffed up though in your head and you're having trouble, difficulty getting a good breath in, sinuses are a little congested, something like a peppermint or a eucalyptus will help you open up your sinuses to help you to take in a deeper breath. I also have my yoga strap today and a block. Those are things you might use. And I'm up on a cushion just for comfort as we go through our breath this morning, but even feel comfortable sitting in a chair for this first section. That might feel best for you, as I want you to be as comfortable as possible. So what is pranayama? It's a Sanskrit term that we use. It's basically translated into the life force of expansion. So it's the breath in many forms. And we can manipulate that breath, or we can just let it naturally occur because we don't have to think about breathing, right? We can just go through our day and the breath happens. Or we can really be mindful, focus on the breath, and we can change it, we can shape it and manipulate it. One of the most basic forms of breathing is the equal ratio breath. And the Sanskrit term for that is sama vritti. So it's equal ratio, meaning the length of the inhalation matches the length of the exhalation. And this breath, in science terms, is really been shown to help us to release anxiety, to reduce anxiety. So what it does is it ignites the hypothalamus and the pituitary and the adrenal glands. And so those endocrine glands control our hormones. And so as we modulate this breath, we're going to form those hormones that are circulating through our bloodstream and allow us to relax deeper. The responses that we might feel are lowered heart rate, lowered respiratory rate, lowered blood pressure. So we're just going to start really lengthening a nice long spine. If you have an essential oil, you can take it, take a drop or two into the palm of your hand. And some oils aren't safe to have on your skin, so you might have to dilute that with some other oil, a coconut oil, something like that. And just softly rub it between your hands, and that's going to heat up that oil and activate it. And then just kind of cup your hands in front of you, lower just below, kind of making a little funnel. And close your eyes and just take a few deep breaths, not shaping or worrying about equal ratio, but just some nice deep breaths in and out through your nose. And notice how you are feeling in this moment, how you're feeling emotionally, and how you're feeling in your thought processes. Is your mind clear? Or is it full of things to do, places to go, of worries? And our goal today is to clear our minds, clear our emotional well-being, and start to activate that parasympathetic nervous system that's responsible for digestion and mood control. Now, if you don't have oils, you can either just fold your hands in your lap or placing your hands on top of your knees for grounding. And we'll focus on the Vritti, the equal ratio breath. So today we're going to use a count of 4, but you can use any count that works well for you. And exhale completely before you begin. Then in through the nose, a count of 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale the same. 4, 3, 2, and 1. So find this equal ratio breath at your own pace. And just notice as you breathe, where is the breath moving? You might feel just in your belly a soft expansion and contraction. You might feel this in your rib cage, a little flaring of the ribs. You might feel this in your heart, space feeling open in the upper lobes of the lungs. And we are going to use this equal ratio breath throughout our class today. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time just here in the beginning to go through this breath pattern, but let's take 2 more. Inhaling 4, 3, 2. Exhale 4, 3, 2. One more breath in. And exhale. And just let your breath return back to a normal flow, not shaping it, not counting, whatever your body is needing today. So there's a lot of question about where to put our inhalation and where to put the exhalation in yoga. And I want to say off the bat, there's no right or wrong way. Sometimes it's just whatever you need to do and feels best for your body. But for the most part, a good guideline is to inhale when the body is opening, expanding, and to exhale when you're closing in. So if you think about it, when you expand, you're creating more room for that breath to come into your lungs. When you're exhaling, you need to contract and press that air out. You have a smaller space. So let's just begin with the arms and the shoulders. We'll bring them up into goalpost or cactus arms. And as you breathe in a count of 4, pull your shoulders blades back, lift your heart, squeeze those shoulder blades, expand through the chest. And then as you exhale, round your back like a cat, pull your elbows and your wrists together, drop your chin down to your chest. So this is seated cow and cat with a chest expansion. So we're using our equal ratio breath, our Vritti, with expansion and contraction of the rib cage. And just in and out through the nose. And start to notice how you're feeling in the shoulders, in the spine. And I'm sitting in easy pose, simple cross leg, but any way that feels comfortable for you is key here. Let's take 2 more equal ratio. 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale 4, 3, 2. Exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Come back to neutral. Hands can float down to your knees. And just check in. How are you feeling? How has this energetically affected your mind and your emotions? We'll begin just to rotate the head from side to side, and you can choose an equal ratio breath or just let the breath be natural and flow in and out wherever you would like it to. We had a request today to work into the neck a little bit. So that cervical spine can move many ways. This is rotation of the cervical spine. And there's 7 cervical vertebrae. Lengthening the spine as you turn. And just notice, is your range of motion about the same from the right to the left, or do you have a tighter side? Sometimes if we get a little kink in our neck, we maybe sleep wrong, can feel a little pain as we do this. So just move through a comfortable range of motion. Once more each side. Then coming back to center, we move through flexion, dropping the chin down, stretching the back of the neck, to extension. Now, extension in anatomical terms is just coming back to neutral. If we go back, this is hyperextension. Kind of sounds like it's a bad thing, right? So I don't want you to drop way back when you come up. That pinches the cervical vertebrae. Just lengthen the chin slightly without dropping the head back. We come into flexion and extension. And take your eyes with you. So look down towards your belly as that chin drops. And then as you bring the chin up, look up with your eyes. As we actually have muscles in our eyeballs, and sometimes we don't use them. So I want you to really look up. Open your eyes wide one more time. And then come back to center. Lateral flexion of the cervical spine. Tip the right ear towards the right shoulder. And then come to the other side. And again, you can make this very mindful using your equal ratio breath, your sama vritti, or just relax in normal, natural breath flow. It's just important not to retain the breath and to hold it. And notice if you feel any difference between the right side of your neck and the left side of your neck. And it's normal to have differences. So try not to beat yourself up about it. This is you today in this present moment. No judgment, no condemnation for your body today. Notice whether you're hunching your shoulders up. So really press them down so your neck is nice and long. Last time each direction. And then coming back to center. We'll come through a half circle. So what I want you to do is rotate your chin to the right, drop it down, go into flexion, come around to the left, you're looking left, and then bring your head back to center, and we'll reverse. So turn and look, drop the chin, flex it towards your chest, to the right, and rotate back to center. And just alternating these sides. Again, we're being very cautious, not forcing this range of motion. And we lose that range of motion over time in our neck as we age. So it's really good to go through these basic movement patterns of the cervical spine. And notice I'm not tipping back. I'm not making a full circle. This is a little half circle, starting with rotation. And let's do one more on each side. Do you hear any crunching? Yeah, I have a little bit of degenerative disc disease. So I hear a little crunching. It's normal. It's okay. As long as you don't feel pain, it's not a problem to have a little bit of that. Okay, once we come back to center, we'll go back to our equal ratio breath. So inhale, the arms up and expand, 4 counts. Exhale, drop into a side bend over to the right. Shorten the side of your waist, collapsing through that rib cage just a bit. Inhale up, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. At your own pace. Now, if you want to move this quicker, we can go a count of 3 and 3, or even 2 and 2, as long as it's equal ratio. We have that nice calming effect in our nervous system. If you'd rather just be a little bit more focused on the movement and less focused on the breath, that's okay. Don't worry about counting. Because your body will eventually find equal ratio. Will find your sama vritti. Will find balance and homeostasis. One more to each side. And once you finish that last breath, release your hands back down. If you have a yoga strap, or I happen to have my neck scarf here, which is a really nice thing to use. We're going to take our arms, bring them up. Now side stretch that over to the right. Again, if you'd like, with your equal ratio breath, but notice differences now that we have this prop. I'm pulling apart against the strap, creating some dynamic tension, dynamic work in the shoulders. Now, if it's not comfortable for you to bring your arms straight up, that's okay. You can have them down a little bit lower and still get a side bend. It's not all about what the arms are doing. It's about what the waist is doing. So we can keep this into a safe place for our shoulders. Now, when we're not using the strap and we have a hand on the floor with our stretch, we are supporting our core. So this might feel like a lot more work through the muscles of your spine, your back, your obliques, and through that transverse abdominis, the abdominal muscles that wrap all the way around the torso. One more to each side. And come back to the center. Good. Relax your strap. Come into what we call the mermaid sit or the Z sit. So I'm going to take my right foot in front, about parallel to the edge of your mat. You can still sit up on your cushion with that right sitting bone. Your left leg is parallel to the side edge of your mat. I'm going to start to move into rotation, bringing your right fingertips down towards the mat. Take your arms at a diagonal. So I have my fingertips here, not necessarily straight up. And then rotate open, take a breath in, maybe 4 counts. Then as you exhale, hollow out your belly, scoop it round and look behind you. That's your exhalation. Breathe in and breathe out. Now, I like the slower movement with this, that 4 count breath, equal ratio, rather than maybe a 2, because twisting is something we want to be very careful and slow and mindful with. Now, notice your neck, because we're spending special attention today on our necks. So I want you to look as far as you can over your right shoulder as you're rotating. And then look way out towards that left hand as you open it up. Let's do 2 more repetitions. Breathe in, expand. Breathe out, contract, feel the muscles of your core engaging. And one more, we open. And we close with the exhalation. Now just reach up right here, hold maybe a couple of wrist circles, and then reverse. And then come back up to center. So either using your yoga strap or without it, we're going to come into our side bend here in this position. So if you're using your strap, we'll inhale up, exhale, reach. Now, if you're feeling any strain in your core or your lower back, you do this without the yoga strap. We're here, and then you support your spine as you come down. So you pick how much work you want in your core today as you do this lateral flexion of the spine. And place that in with your equal ratio breath. So we're coming up, maybe 3, 2, 1, coming down, 2, 1. Ooh, this is challenging without having the hand on the floor. So make sure it feels okay for you today. Let's do one more. And finishing with an inhalation up and exhaling the hands down. So we'll come into a modified pigeon here, folding over this front leg. So I'm going to take my torso, walk the fingertips out, and just fall over that right leg and stretch the hip. Now it's really nice to have your head supported here. So you can come down to your elbows and just place the forehead right into the palms of your hands. Some of you might be able to get your forehead all the way down to the floor or place it on stacked fists or your yoga block. Now find your equal ratio breath. Inhaling 4. Exhaling 4. Three more of those breaths. Two more, really relaxing through your pelvis, your hip. And last time. And then begin to lift your head as you finish that final breath. Use your arms to press yourself up. And then we'll reverse our Z sit. So left leg in front. Now sometimes when our hips are really tight, it's hard to sit in Z sit. So that's where your cushion really can come in handy. So usually your cushion needs to go under the hip of this front leg to kind of bring your pelvis a little bit more neutral. Left fingertips out onto your mat. Right arm is at a diagonal. So both of my arms are straight out from the shoulders. Inhale, open and expand. Look back behind you towards that right hand. Exhale, scoop the belly. So I'm hollowing out. Rotate, look way back behind you. And let's put that into an equal ratio breath. Whatever the count is for you. And I don't have a lot of weight into this hand that's on the floor. I'm trying to use my core muscles to support my body just a little bit here. So I want this to feel like you're wringing out a sponge. You've got a little bit of rotation, the up direction, and then a lot of rotation, squeezing out the internal organs. helping us with digestion, that process of our food going through that digestive system, moving it along nicely through the smooth muscle. Two more repetitions. One more. Nice, comfortable range of motion. Then reach up to finish, stretch, rotate your wrist, and reverse. And then pull yourself up. And remember, you can do this with or without your yoga strap. So we'll inhale and then exhale to stretch. So if you're using your hand on your mat, just a little bit of help with your fingertips. And I like to make these tented fingers because then I'm not as apt to push my palm down into the floor. It's also nice, it kind of strengthens your fingers and your hands. And then we also have the option with the yoga strap or with your scarf, taking that side bend over until you go, ooh, I feel the core, and picking it up. So the benefit of this is more core work, but we're not getting as much lateral flexion of the spine. So it depends on what your goal is today. If you want to stretch, then put your hand on the floor and go further. If you want to work strengthening, then you're here. Let's do two more. Inhaling to come up. Exhaling to stretch. One more. And up and hold, relaxing the arms down. Walk your fingertips forward into your modified pigeon and try to support your head wherever you might be. So if you're really, really tight here and you're not folding far, you can use a combination of props. You can place your yoga block and your elbows to relax your head here. Or if you've got a chair in front of you, you can just reach out to a chair and place your forehead onto that as a prop as well. So you find the place where you can sink, feel that stretch, and let go. Then reconnect to your equal ratio breathing. We've got 5 breaths here. You pick the count, the length, and the duration. And feel any tension melting away with each one of those breaths. Our HPA, as it's known, system, hypothalamus, pituitary, adrenal combination, is responding to model our mood, to reduce anxiety and stress, to facilitate that rest and digest side of our nervous system, the parasympathetic. Once you have that last equal ratio breath and the exhalation is completed, pick your head up, press with your arms, and then just come back to either an easy cross-leg pose or sitting with your legs straight out, and just close your eyes and notice how you're feeling. Is there still any tension, stress, anxiety? Or have you felt a shift in your mood, in the clarity of your thoughts and emotions? So we'll come to our hands and knees onto all fours. If you need a little padding for your knees, you can bring your blanket, your cushion with you. And all fours were nice and evenly distributed with our weight. So the hips are over the knees, spread the fingers wide, except for tuck your thumbs in just a little bit and gently feel like you're clawing the floor with your fingers in that Hasta Bandha, creating a lock into the floor. Now tuck your toes and lift your knees an inch off the floor and notice that contraction in your core muscles. This is oftentimes known as bear pose. And then lower your knees down. So I'm not lifting very much. There's really no change in my alignment. I'm just pressing into the hands till my knees can come up and then lowering back down. So your choice here is just to stay from hands and knees to bear, or you can go from bear to downward facing dog. Ooh, if we're going to do down dog, let's pedal out the feet just a little bit because that feels kind of tight first thing in the morning. So lengthen out. Now this is an all levels class. So I want you to be sure that you're choosing that level that works best for you. So our level 1 is we just come from hands and knees to bear, back and forth, feeling that connection in your core. Level 2 is to go from bear, the knees never touch, to downward facing dog. And then connect that equal ratio breath. So we are going to inhale in our bear or knees on the floor, and then exhale to push back into your downward facing dog. And you'll notice in bear or hands and knees, we have more space for the inhalation. We can expand the ribs. When we come into down dog, that space is reduced, so we're folding our body in half. So that's where we're putting that exhalation. One more option, if you'd like, is to go from hands and knees to child's pose. Inhaling to your all fours. Exhaling to push back, squeezing the air out of the lungs as we're folding our body. So let's do 3 more. You choose the level that you like the best, or maybe mix and match. Try to equal ratio with your breathing if you can. And one more. And then we'll bring the knees back down to all fours. Now, if your wrists are starting to bother you, you can make fists for wrists. So you can come up onto your knuckles here to make your wrists straight, which is kind of a nice thing to try every once in a while. Otherwise, hands are flat in that Hasta Bandha, but try to not push your weight down into your hands. Kind of pull it back using your core, and that's alternate spinal balance. So right arm, left leg, extend out. That's our inhalation. And then we exhale to close and return. Then switch sides. Inhale and exhale. Now, if you like to go a little quicker, we can maybe make 2 counts for the inhalation, 2 counts for the exhalation, and make this a little quicker pace. Or really slow it down, holding, finding that connection in your core. And what we're looking here is to keep our hips level, our shoulders level, And whenever we're lifting an opposite arm and leg, we're doing a cross-connected strengthening movement. So it's a diagonal pattern of strength from the right arm to the left hip and from the left arm to the right hip. It's great strengthening for the entire back. Noticing your head, your chin is very neutral here. Let's do one more on each side. And then press yourself back to a child's pose, just for a little breather, recovering from that pressure in your wrists. And then we'll rise up to our downward facing dog. And then either walking your feet towards your hands or your hands to your feet, come into forward bend. Now just find some length down the backs of your legs. If you want, you can grab your elbows here, just hang in ragdoll, maybe shimmy around a little bit, move your head a little bit back and forth. Just let everything stretch. And then we are going to move in and out of a forward bend using our Vritti, our equal ratio breath. So soften your knees, reverse swan dive, inhaling about a count of 4, and exhaling 4 counts back down. Now, if a forward fold is too much here for your low back or for your hamstrings, you can come to a half forward fold, maybe just bringing your fingertips to your shins, or you can forward fold and place your hands on your chair, your couch, so you've got yourself supported here a little bit in your forward bend. Now match the flow of that breath. And again, if you want to take your energy up a level, then increase to maybe just a count of 2 or 3 each direction. Or for a really mindful, meditative practice, take it slower. See how slow you can go with the breath on the inhale and exhalation, maybe a count of 6. And it's okay not to count. Just let your body notice that equal flow and find it from within you. Let's do one more inhale. Exhale. Now we'll inhale up to that extended mountain and exhale into chair pose. So we inhale, reaching wherever you want to go with your arms, expand on the inhalation, then exhale as you sink into chair, and we're shortening and contracting in with our body. So that's where we put the breath in and the breath out. You choose where you'd like to be with your arms, or you don't need to use them at all. You can just keep them at heart center and inhale to stand up and exhale to sink into chair. Now notice what you're feeling in chair pose. So for me, as I sit, I'm feeling a stretch in the backs of my ankles into that Achilles tendon area. I'm feeling strengthening in my quads and glutes. We want to be sure we're not bending way over in your chair. So the chest is still lifted, shoulder blades are down. Now I'd like to lengthen and link this all together. So a breath in as we reach up, a breath out as you fold forward, a breath in as you come back up, a breath out to sit into chair. So now we've created a nice vinyasa or a flow of yoga movements linked together with the breath. Taking any variations that you need today for your body. Now I've picked my tempo up a little bit, so I think I'm breathing probably 2 counts for each one. Let's do 2 more of this sequence and just notice how this is moving your energy level up. And 1 more of each. And then just come up to a nice mountain pose. This is a great time to close your eyes for a minute, focusing on your awareness with your inner eyes, your internal awareness. Notice your posture. Gently pull those shoulders back nicely. And then press your palms together at heart center. Take your right foot, step it forward just a little bit into warrior 1. So we're going to do this a very short stance position. Inhale the arms up. Exhale and shift your body weight forward and see if you can lift the back foot up off the floor just a bit. Inhale to step back, extend. Exhale, shift your body weight, coming into warrior 3. Now the amount you lift your foot up off the floor doesn't have to be a lot, but you can experiment with that and see if you can get it up to 90 degrees if that feels comfortable for you. You can use a chair or a wall to help assist you with balance here. Sometimes it's difficult to find the equal ratio breath, so just allow your breathing to be whatever you need to today as we attempt this balance sequence. We'll do 2 more on the right leg. Nice rooting of that right foot into the mat, our Pada Bandha, the foot lock. Last one. And then coming back to our warrior 1 hold. And press palms at your heart. And back foot steps forward, front foot steps back as we switch legs. This is a closed hip pose, so we want the hips to be as squared as possible here. Try not to open up, but we're lining our entire torso straight ahead. We'll breathe in to reach. Breathe out to stabilize and lift that back foot up. And then you go at your own pace. Now it's a very, very normal phenomenon for you to be rock solid on one side and the other side feel like just you're wiggling all over the place. But that is true for the human body. We tend to have better balance on one side than another. And we can have better balance on one day than another. Now your eye gaze is important to your balance. So try to focus on something that's not moving. And zero in on that. That will help. And we'll do 2 more repetitions. One more. And then settle back into your warrior one and press your palms together. We'll step up to the top of your mat. Inhale, sweep the arms out and up. Exhale, soften the knees, swan dive into forward bend. Inhale, back up. Exhale, chair pose. Step the right foot back, warrior one. Inhale, reach the arms. Exhale, shift into warrior three. Inhale back to warrior one. Exhale to step into chair. Inhale, left foot steps back, warrior one, reach. Exhale, balancing in warrior three. Inhale back, warrior one. Exhale, step into chair. So that's our flowing sequence. We'll begin. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, dive into forward bend. Inhale, back up. Exhale, chair pose. Inhale, right foot steps back, warrior one. Exhale, warrior three, balance. Inhale, step back, warrior one. Exhale, step into chair. Inhale, left foot steps back, warrior one. Exhale, warrior three. Ooh, that's my harder side to balance. Inhale, back, warrior one. Exhale, chair pose. Now I'm moving at a fairly rapid pace. We're going to do this twice more, but you slow it down, whatever feels best for you. So we inhale, rise. Forward bend. Exhale. Inhale, back up. Chair pose. Right foot steps back. Inhale. Warrior three. Exhale. Step back. Inhale. Chair pose. Exhale. Left foot back. Inhale. Warrior three. Exhale. Step back. Inhale. Chair pose. Exhale. One more time. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. In. Out. In. And breathe out. Hold that chair pose. And then just return to mountain and check in. That was a vibrant flow, so you should feel the effects of that stimulating through your heart rate, through your respiratory rate. Let's come down onto our mats with our yoga straps for some stretching. If you need your cushion for a little pillow behind the head, that's kind of nice. It's good to have your head in neutral as you're laying down. Yoga strap or a nice scarf. So I'd like for you to get comfortable, and we'll be stretching through our hamstrings using our equal ratio breath. So I'd like you to place your strap under the bottom of your right foot and extend that leg up. I want you to find a place where you feel, on a scale of 1 to 10, where your stretch is maybe a 2. It's not really big. You just feel that muscle stretching and lengthening. So for some of you, it might feel like you're down here if your hamstrings are really tight. So this is wherever you feel a 2. And then I want you to use that strap and draw your leg up more till you feel more like an 8, 7, or an 8 in that stretch. And then using our equal ratio breath, we come to a 2, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pull it in. 4, 3, 2, 1. Again, release to a 2. Inhaling. Pull it into a 7 or an 8. Exhaling. 3 more rounds. Inhale. Slightly backing off on the stretch. Exhale. 2 more. So this is more of a dynamic stretch rather than a stationary stretch. And holding. This sends a message to that hamstring muscle to relax. Last time. Exhale. Hold. And then release that side. Same thing on the left. So find where your 2 is, where you feel just a little bit of stretching. And then find where your 7 or your 8 is. Ooh, this is tighter for me, so I definitely feel my range of motion is going to be less. So let's take that 4 count inhalation at a 2. Exhale, pull it into your 8. 5 repetitions. Now your 2 and your 8 may change because we're increasing the length of that muscle, so you feel where you have that 2, where you have that 8, and notice it might be in a different place each time. One more, breathing in to your 2, breathing out to your 8. And then release that side. Bring your knees flat on the floor. Press down in solidly to the feet. Breathe in as you're in neutral. And breathe out and tense through the glutes. Breathe in. And breathe out. So there's certain parts of our body that are expanding on the inhalation, certain parts that are contracting. So this is the type of exercise that the breath can be done either way. So we'll do one more time, breathing in with the hips down, breathing out to lift them. And then we'll switch that breath. So breathe out as your hips are on the floor. Breathe in to lift up. Expand through your ribs. Breathe out to come down. Breathe in to lift up. So in a movement like this, you will typically find which one feels more natural for you, or you can shape it and try to do the opposite from what your body feels more natural. Let's do one more. Either breath pattern is fine. And then hug your knees into your chest, either holding knees to chest or taking happy baby to really stretch your lower back. We can reach for the bottom of one foot and pull the knee in towards the armpit. Reach for the bottom of the other foot, pull the other knee. You can rock a little bit from side to side. Flatten the lumbar spine. Just breathing normally. Now you can hold here with bent knees, or you can lengthen the legs out into a nice wide leg stretch. Get those hamstrings one more time, the inner thighs. And then we'll come into final relaxation. Your feet can come down to the floor. You can let your knees come towards each other if that feels better for your lower back. You can let your knees fall open to Baddha Konasana, or we can allow our legs to extend out into our traditional corpse pose. So it's often said that the two poses that are hardest in a yoga class is grounding and centering at the beginning, and shavasana, or final relaxation, at the end. And we tend to be creatures that are always in a state of movement. We're always doing things. And our mind is always thinking. So that's why these poses can tend to be more difficult. We get a little bit antsy, so it's hard to relax. We can use the pranayama to help us find that relaxation. So if you'd like, maybe place your hands on your belly, or maybe one on your belly, one on your heart. And we'll focus on our equal ratio breath, our sama vritti. And you pick the count, maybe coming back to a count of 4. Inhaling and exhaling equal in duration. And as you get into that flow, allow it to run in the background. And focus on relaxing every muscle in your body. Clearing your mind. Finding an emotional place of joy and peace. I invite you to remain here as long as you'd like, cycling through your breath, spending time in relaxation and meditation. If you're following the sound of my voice, to close our practice, we'll decide which side of your body you'd like to roll to, and then we'll reach that arm above the head, bend your knees, let them drop over to that side, and you can make a little pillow for the side of the head. using the strength of your arms, press yourself up, coming back full circle where we began our class today, in a seated position. We'll press our palms in an Anjali Mudra, our symbol of honor and respect, our symbol of gratitude. And I am grateful for this opportunity to guide you through your practice this morning. Namaste. Thank you, everyone. I know I went over